Hello and good morning. It is Friday, January 2nd, 2026, and it's time for me to hopefully prepare for what is my final ever semester preparation video. Just thought I would provide a bit of an update. If you guys seen, so I'm actually posting whenever I can now short videos, and sometimes it's kind of like more on the spot vlogs that don't make it into a longer video. So yesterday on New Year's Day, I actually made a post that I thought I got glutened. Yeah, I did get glutened. Or I'm pretty sure that's what happened because I was also feeling pretty crappy after having lunch yesterday, and to the point where I actually had a nap. Now, part of that was probably I was exhausted from staying up too late, but my stomach wasn't feeling good. I hardly ate anything last night. I can't tell how it is yet because I haven't tried to have a big meal. All I had was my granola bar this morning. Still not feeling, 100% there. So I should have probably done a workout this morning, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna leave it just because of how I was feeling yesterday. So hopefully tomorrow I can get in a workout, but yeah, I'm not gonna worry about it today. Give my stomach a chance to recover from that. That was not okay. Didn't have much energy. I actually would have thought it was a migraine if it hadn't been for like the way my stomach felt like it was being stabbed by a knife, which could have been, part that and part migraine, and who knows. Like, I don't get glutened enough anymore to be able to tell you, like, it's a migraine trigger for me. Like, I know for some people it probably is, but I haven't had it happen enough that I can relate the two, so I have no idea whether the two are related or whether one can cause the other. Would not shock me though if it could. So still kind of recovering from that, which it usually does take a few days. Then again, it depends how much gluten there was and how fast my body can get rid of it. I felt like all I did was go to the bathroom yesterday. As long as I keep my hydration up, everything is fine. That's everything for the update. So let's get into the stuff for the school prep. I've actually been doing prep work all morning this morning. I just want to get it done, and I kind of want to have a closer look at what the semester is going to be like. And the best way to honestly do that is to start with the assignment tracker. So I had to go through and watch all of the video again because I've only done this once where I've made one of these, so I don't remember all of the formulas and menus and all of that to actually make it. That's what I started off with, was that, and then went through each class. Now, I don't have dates for everything yet, but most of the stuff is at least kind of figured out what is going to be evaluated on, so I just wrote it down, like put it in the assignment tracker. I just didn't put a date on it yet because I don't know all of that yet. I also decided I would just film up here just because it's warmer and the house is quiet, so that's why I'm filming up here. Let's get started with the actual assignment tracker itself. So my assignment tracker is pretty much the same as what it was last semester. I didn't really change it. I might have changed the pie chart a little bit, and I used a lot more notes. So this semester is going to probably be one of the strangest semesters I've ever had in my life. So there's not much like lecture evaluation. It's like the first 2 months are kind of prepping to prepare for in person labs. And then the last 2 months is like demonstrating that you can actually do the thing that they were preparing you for. On the assignment tracker, I've made the courses actually into like I've put the drop down menu, but then I've colored the boxes. So the green boxes are the evaluations that are online because with my math class there's online evaluations and then there's in-person evaluations, and I'm like, I feel like I should color code them so that the online stuff is a certain color and the in-person stuff is a certain color. So I went with green is online and yellow is in person. Now I just went from the top of my class list in from Brightspace down to the bottom. So these are all mixed together. I'm not sure if I really have a way that I can filter them, to be honest with you. I might be able to do like certain courses or something, or even by a due date. It's nice to know what stuff is in person and what stuff is online. Now, I could have probably done that in the notes, but I like to have a more visual method of doing that, so that's why I did it the way I did it. Another thing that took so long about this assignment tracker is for the sterile compounding labs, we actually have set times individually for those. So they did actually have the schedule up. I wasn't sure if they would or not yet because it is a couple months away and I wasn't sure whether they got them finalized or not. I did check in the course and we are given times. So what I ended up doing was in the notes section said what my time was. So that because I referenced this document probably more in the end than I referenced my schedule. Like I could just write it onto the schedule about when I am there, and I might still do that because it might be easier when I'm actually like in person to have that as well. But as far as I'm concerned, if I have my computer, like one of my computers with me, which is why I actually use the Google Sheets because it transfers between my devices, what I ended up doing was using the comments to like show where each of the, like where I was, who the instructor was. Oh, another interesting thing about this semester is there's not much percentage marking. What do I mean by that? So most of the stuff is actually pass fail. You meet the competency or you don't. Not a lot of it is like you need this exam is worth so much of your final grade. You need 50% to pass the class. I think from what I can tell, only the calculations course contributes to the GPA, like everything else is pass fail. So that's really fascinating. I think the first couple months actually is probably going to feel a little lighter, but a lot of it's going to be making sure that you understand what's going on because there's not going to be time to like make up for deficiencies once we get in person because it's just basically all evaluations once we get in person. This thing helps so much just because of the countdown part of it. So like next week is already things starting. I think this semester's time, from what I can tell from the tracker sheet, is going to be like spending most time on the sterile compounding prep stuff that we have to do for in-person labs. And another chunk of it is just going to be like assignments again. Like there doesn't look to be much quizzes and exams besides the stuff for the advanced calculation. So that's actually kind of nice. It's going to be very different because there's no like typical lab that we do for community every like couple times a week. Like it's going to be very different. You might be wondering what kind of classes there are this semester, so I'll go through that. So we have our interprofessional class, which actually was a lot of last semester too. It's kind of a full year, but it's not really counted as a full year in the thing, but it spans over 2 semesters. Just you have to work with timing with other groups in order for it to work, so it's like not that many hours, but because of scheduling and all of that, it's spread out over 2 semesters. So we've got applied sterile compounding lab. So that's kind of like So the thing that's going to take up the most time in January, February is the prep for that course. And then the applied sterile compounding lab is going to be like a more individualized thing. So that's going to be quite interesting. I don't know about anybody else, but I get nervous when I have people directly watching me. So that's going to be a really big challenge for me to overcome with this particular class. So I'm hoping I can get over that by the time I actually get there. And it might just take me getting used to like having somebody over my shoulder watching me. Probably be one of those things where I kind of get used to it at the very end. Who knows? So then we've got a pharmacy practicum and career preparation course, which is actually really nice. So you're going to be teaching us all of the steps that we need to do for like registration process, PEBC stuff, resume and cover letter, how to be professional, preparing for the practicums, like very useful stuff that you don't really get in a university program. They're going to be doing that with us. So I'm looking forward to that. The advanced pharmacy calculations, another class that I think is probably going to take a lot of time, just getting in the amount of practice that you need in order to be successful in the class, and then also just like to be successful in the 100% must pass. That's a part of this class too. Like it's just going to take extra work. So I'm probably going to be bouncing back and forth between the sterile prep and the calculations course for like homework and stuff. So the sterile compounding practice as well, that's the stuff that we take before we go in person. So again, 211, 213 are probably going to be the major time parts of this semester. Other than that, I don't know what to really expect with this in terms of like how much time dedicated. And same thing goes for when in person, because it's laid out in a schedule, but how much prep work and stuff there's going to be before, and like the timing of how that routine is going to change once in person, probably going to be a trial and error at the start for sure. So then we have our 210, which is non-sterile compounding lab. So that is in person, but the prep for that is 209. So we learn all the different parts of sterile compounding and all of that. When it comes to the foundations, that's the stuff where I kind of learn the stuff that I'm not taught. So the non-sterile compounding is like creams and ointments. I think they have us making probably like capsules as well, which is something I don't do at work because we don't have the proper equipment to do it. But like suppositories, all those kind of things, like you can make certain things that you can't get commercially, so that's what that is. Most common for me right now is like combining two creams or an ointment and a powder, or simple compounding like that is done, the stuff that I've done. Then we have our advanced entry to practice lab, which is basically a continuation of the advanced dispensing lab from last semester, but it's the in-person version. So they're going to be testing the things that they can't test online in that. We're going to be going over the things that are a pain in my backside. So like nebules and stuff again. So that's great. They do also some OSPE practice, so getting an idea of what to expect for that part of the boards. They also do an injection training seminar. So pharmacy technicians in Canada, once you've been licensed for so long, you can do continuing education to be able to give COVID and flu shots. So in order to do that, you have to take a injection training course, but they're going to give us an introduction to that. The Applied Institutional Pharmacy Lab is actually a continuation from the Pharmacy Practicum course last semester, so where we learned like how different meds are dispensed in the hospital, and then unit dosing and using the software in the pharmacy, that kind of thing. So those are the classes. It seems like a lot on the surface, but it's because there's prep courses and then there's like application courses. So like the first prep courses are done from January to February. Our winter break is a week later than most of the rest of the school. So usually February break is around the family day, holiday, long weekend. For us though, it's a week later. That's where I'll be moving and prepping for the in-person stuff, as well as preparing for a midterm. So that's going to be fun. But I'm moving quite early. So it was either, so I had, when I making the decision to like pick a date as to when I wanted to move, there was two different options I could have used. So I could have go up there early, get settled, have time to study, and be up there paying for a place before I kind of need it, and then preparing for that. Or I could have moved a little bit later and then stayed home and did the studying. I went with option number one because I feel like it'll be better for me to not have to be stressing about any part of the moving or settling in once I get there. And then once I kind of do settle in, then I can focus on the studying for the midterm. I just feel like it's going to be better to get the move over with at the very start rather than waiting for the end. I don't know, maybe there wouldn't have been much of a difference, but I'm just gonna go for it just because I think the hardest part is getting settled. So actually, most of the labs this semester in that sterile prep course, I have to do on my own. So depending on like what kind of stuff we're looking at for like privacy and all of that, I might try and show some of those, like me doing the actual labs on my own time. That would be kind of nice, and it's probably going to involve using the sterile compounding kit, so maybe there's a way I can show that as well. So there's hopefully going to be some new things that I can show this semester compared to any other semester before. Thanks for joining me for this one. I'm hoping to get a video out every week, but as I said, when it comes to when things get busy or if I just find things are too repetitive, it's like, well, it's not really anything unique to share. And obviously, like once I get in person, I can't show the actual in person stuff because I can't have my camera with me, but I can talk about what we're doing and, you know, all of that in between. Maybe I can do a little bit of vlogging at the school. Like I said, though, I didn't vlog any of the in-person stuff last year because I'm really uncomfortable vlogging around people who know me well. So people who don't know me well, and it's like, no thanks. It's really strange how you get really shy when you're around other people talking when it looks like you're talking to yourself. However, when it's just you, it's like, oh, I'm just gonna vlog right now. It's really hard to explain. Anyways, guys, if you're interested in following along on this journey, and this year, if everything goes well, is going to be quite heavy between finishing up the schooling and going through the registration process, be sure to hit the subscribe button, like the video, turn your notifications on, because like I said, posting can be inconsistent. That's it for this one. So thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you again next week. Bye, everyone.